Long ago, in a quaint village named Golpo, nestled between verdant paddy fields and a serene river, lived two sisters, Sadhana and Subarna. Sadhana was humble, hardworking, and kind-hearted. Subarna, on the other hand, was cunning, self-centered, constantly yearning for an easy fortune. One day, while they were by the canal washing water pots, a bewildering occurrence took place. As Sadhana scrubbed her pot by the riverbank, a dazzling light emanated from the water. From within the brilliance emerged a beautifully ornate, ancient vase that floated towards Sadhana, halting by her feet. The vase bore a carved inscription, "Bestow upon it a heart, and fortune shall be yours. Demand with greed, and fear shall prevail." Sadhana took the vase home and carefully stored it away. The following morning, she was astonished to find gold coins spilled from the vase. Secretly, she used the vase's blessings to help the village's needy without uttering a word. But news of the vase reached Subarna, whose envy consumed her. One night, driven by jealousy, she stole the vase into her room. Overjoyed by the stream of gold, she greedily demanded, "More! Now I wish for diamonds and a kingdom." Just then, from the vase emerged a terrifying genie shaped like a smoky serpent who declared, "In greed you called, now in fear you shall dwell. The price of your desires must be paid." The genie whisked Subarna away to a mystical realm, the Cave of Red Smoke, where she was trapped in a timeless vortex. Desperate to save her sister, Sadhana followed the inscription's guidance and entered the genie's world. As the vase drifted away once more, a final scene reveals an unknown child smiling at the sight of the vase. Beyond the seven skies was the realm of fairies, a heavenly kingdom surrounded by colorful forests. There lived a poor fairy named Nivi, bound by a mysterious curse. Her magic had dwindled, her wings were shriveled, and her home was the only place in the fairy realm where light wouldn't glow at night. Nivi didn't know that her poverty was not an accident, but rather the result of a curse from a royal fairy princess named Selena. Every day, Nivi fetches water from afar and collects fruits from the forest. One day, she rescues an injured unicorn and brings it to her little broken cottage. The unicorn's name is Aurora. It can speak because it is actually a magic creature with the gift of foresight. Aurora says, "You're not just poor. There's a mystery within you that could shake the entire fairy realm." Nivi learns that she was born as the true daughter of the fairy king. But Selena, the king's jealous daughter, sent her to an invisible palace at birth and magically transformed her into a common poor fairy. That invisible palace is her poor home, today, a magical, imprisoned royal abode that will awaken only through true sacrifice. Nivi and Aurora embark on a quest to unravel the mysteries of the fairy realm. They traverse the forest of light-eating shadows, the enchanted Mirror Mountains, and finally, the forgotten winged clock cave, where lies a scroll revealing Nivi's true identity. When Nivi discovers the truth and returns to awaken the palace, Selena appears, stunning in beauty, but toxic in jealousy. With Nivi's admission and sacrifice, the palace awakens again. Blinding in light, Selena is destroyed by her own magic. In the 18th century, the British officers had implemented a new tax system that severely affected the common people. Rumor reached the British that the kingdom's treasury held vast amounts of hidden gold, and they intended to seize it. King Krishnachandra realized that a direct confrontation would endanger the common folk, so he summoned the court's chief humorist and wise man, Gopal Bar. Colonel Henry, the British officer, announced, "Tomorrow morning, we shall enter the royal palace and seize the gold. Anyone who resists will be incarcerated." The villagers were terrified, and the king was worried, but Gopal, with a calm smile, said, "Your Majesty, just give me one night. By tomorrow morning, you'll be surprised by their actions." Gopal secretly summoned all the villagers and instructed them, "Tonight, gather by the river with flutes, drums, and torches. Tell no one, just follow my instructions." Meanwhile, Gopal filled the royal treasury with piles of hot sweets like ghee-coated puffs, ladoos, and sundesh instead of gold. However, they were arranged in such a manner that they appeared as golden ingots. Early the next morning, Colonel Henry and his squad, armed with guns, swords, and torches, marched towards the palace. But suddenly, they heard a tremendous noise from the direction of the river. Flute melodies and drums echoed with cheers of "March! March!" Colonel Henry was frightened. Have they called an army to rebel? He led his team towards the riverbank only to find hundreds of villagers with torches were dancing and singing, "We're coming to eat Luchi." Before the colonel could understand, the royal troops surrounded the British from behind. Gopal stepped forward and said, "Colonel, we've prepared special treats for you today. You must see the gold in the treasury too." When the British opened the treasury, they found only sweets like sundesh, ladoo, and puffs. Embarrassed, Colonel Henry exclaimed, "What is this? We expected gold." Gopal chuckled and replied, "Look, Colonel, we consider sweets our real gold here. If you wish to take the gold, you must finish 200 bowls of sundesh first." Overwhelmed, the British officers had no choice but to eat the sweets. Realizing Gopal's cunning plan, they promised never to disturb the king again. The villagers erupted in joy, and Gopal said, "When intelligence reigns, guns are not needed, just sweets." Defeating an enemy doesn't always require force. Often wit and humor are the greatest weapons. When united, even ordinary people can conquer great threats. In an ancient village nestled in the midst of a vast desert lived a young boy named Afik. His father was a humble merchant, and his mother always reminded him, "Son, many temptations will come your way, but speaking the truth is your greatest strength." One day, Afik's father asked him to sell dates at the town's market. He gave him a small pouch filled with dates and some gold to bring back. Afik embarked on his journey with his camel. On the way, some robbers stopped him in the middle of the desert. The leader, with a terrifying beard and a sword in hand, growled, "Where are you going? Tell us what you have." Despite being scared, Afik remembered his mother's advice. He replied, "I have my father's dates and some gold." The robbers laughed. "No one tells the truth so easily. You must be lying." They opened his pouch and found that there was indeed gold inside. Everyone was astonished. The leader, now serious, asked, "Boy, you know we are robbers, yet why did you tell the truth?" Afik calmly answered, "My mother taught me never to lie, even if it means facing death. People might take my possessions, but no one can take away my honesty." Hearing this, tears welled up in the robber leader's eyes. He said, "You have changed us, boy. From today, we shall give up our life of banditry." The robbers escorted Afik safely to the market where his father's dates sold at a good price. Upon returning to the village, Afik shared, "Truth may sometimes seem difficult, but ultimately it brings the greatest victory." Honesty is indeed a person's true wealth. The power of speaking the truth can change others' lives as well. In the green forest, perched on the branches, lived a mischievous and clever bird named Tuntuni. One day, as Tuntuni was flying near the riverbank, something caught her eye, a gleaming red silken handkerchief floating along the water. Tuntuni took the handkerchief and placed it in her nest on the tree. But at night, the handkerchief began to emit a soft golden glow. The next morning, the king's guards made an announcement throughout the kingdom. Whoever returns this special silken handkerchief shall receive a platter of gold coins from the king. However, there was a condition. The handkerchief was actually a secret map to the royal treasury, and if it fell into the wrong hands, the entire kingdom would be at risk. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Tuntuni set off towards the palace with the handkerchief. But along the way, the wicked minister and his spies attempted to seize the handkerchief. At one point, the minister himself approached and said, "Give me the handkerchief. I will deliver it to the king." Using her wits, Tuntuni replied, "Okay, but first bring me a platter of nuts." While the minister went to fetch the nuts, Tuntuni flew straight to the palace. The king was pleased when he saw the handkerchief, but Tuntuni revealed everything. This minister was attempting to steal the handkerchief. The king sent the minister to the dungeon and gifted Tuntuni with a golden pendant, which had a tiny bell hanging from it. In a quiet village, a mysterious illness begins to spread, affecting all the inhabitants. People grow weak, and no remedy seems to work. Al-Hazib, a young and wise scholar, is confounded by the situation until an aged scholar reveals to him a secret. The cure for this illness lies in the tears of light, a magical crystal found in the city of fairies, he says. To reach the city of fairies, Al-Hazib must traverse the Chandrakaya forest, where blue-flamed jinns guard the dark paths. Armed with only a torch filled with oil and a sacred prayer, he sets out on his journey. After braving the enchanted forest, Al-Hazib arrives at a dazzling city, where crystal palaces sit upon branches of towering trees, fairies fly in the sky, and the surrounding area glows with the light of fireflies. However, there is one strict rule in the city: fairies do not trust humans, for a human deceived them long ago. The fairy queen approaches Al-Hazib, saying, "I will give you the tears of light, but only if you pass 3 tests. The test of truth: stand before a mirror and confess all your hidden sins. The test of courage: navigate through a dark cave surrounded by the jinns with blue flames. The test of sacrifice: use the cure to save someone else's life, not your own." Al-Hazib successfully completes all 3 tests, but at the final moment, he uncovers a startling revelation. The illness is actually a curse cast by a treacherous fairy who is disguised as a human rebel. Joining forces with the fairy queen, Al-Hazib defeats the rebellious fairy and returns to his village with the tears of light, curing everyone. As he bids farewell, the fairy queen commends him, saying, "You have restored not only our trust, but you have also built a new bridge of friendship between humans and fairies." Al-Hazib gazes at the sky, realizing that the world of fairies and the realm of humans are not so different after all. Hafez Yasin, a devout student from a madrasa, married Aisha, a city girl known for her piety and modesty. Shortly after their wedding, Yasin noticed that Aisha didn't sleep at night. Instead, she engaged in something peculiar with lights, a ring light, and a mobile camera in their room. One night, intrigued by curiosity, Yasin peeked through the crack of the door and discovered that Aisha, wearing her niqab, was creating TikTok videos, dancing, lip-syncing dialogues, and even performing some trendy clips. Yasin was bewildered, as he had been unaware of this side of Aisha before their marriage. Trying to guide her gently, Yasin said, "Fame in this world is fleeting, but the afterlife is eternal. These videos might entertain people, but they compromise your hijab, dignity, and Islamic identity." Aisha, upset, retorted, "This is my passion. I don't see anything wrong in it." One day, a video of Aisha accidentally got uploaded without her niqab. It went viral, garnering several unpleasant comments. Some people even managed to locate their residence. This incident made Aisha realize the truth in Yasin's words. Surprisingly, during this turmoil, Yasin didn't express anger. Instead, he shielded her with his body and calmly called her towards repentance. Aisha deleted all her videos and began using her mobile for good, reciting the Quran, learning Islamic teachings, and creating awareness content for the importance of hijab among women. At the end of the video, a message appeared. True success for a Muslim is not in fame, but in earning the pleasure of Allah. Princess Matreyi has a strange dream one night. A golden peacock is perched on the branch of a magical tree, and beneath the tree lies an invaluable jewel. In the dream, a mysterious voice declares, "The one who acquires this jewel will change the destiny of the entire kingdom." This dream of Matreyi reaches the ears of a treacherous minister and a fearsome demon within the kingdom. They plot to trap the princess in the dream world to seize the jewel for themselves. One night, through witchcraft, the princess is cast into a deep sleep. In her dream, Matreyi embarks on a journey to find the jewel, crossing the Mirage River, a forest of talking snakes, and a village where time stands still. When the princess finally reaches the treasure, she discovers the peacock is actually a cursed prince imprisoned by the demon. If she touches the jewel, the prince will be freed, but Matreyi is unaware that in the waking world, the minister is advancing towards her with a sword. Inside the dream, Matreyi frees the prince, and at the same moment, a blazing light surrounds the princess's body in reality. The sword-wielding minister goes blind, the demon is flung away, and the prince returns to the real world. The prince reveals, the dream realm was actually a test of people's courage and integrity. The jewel was not gold, but rather Matreyi's brave heart. The video ends with text appearing on screen. The one who conquers their fears is the true victor. In a peaceful village surrounded by lush green paddy fields lived a poor, orphaned boy named Jola. Though villagers would often tease him for his simplicity, Jola had one dream that kept him going: to save enough money to buy his own boat and make a living by fishing. One afternoon, he went deep into the forest to gather some firewood. Suddenly, he heard eerie noises, whispers and wails carried by the breeze. In the moonlit mist, 7 mysterious shadows appeared. First ghost. "Hey boy, are you afraid?" Jola, smiling, "You may be ghosts, but I'm just a poor boy with no time to be afraid." The ghosts were taken aback. Usually, people screamed and ran at the very sight of them, but this boy stood fearless. They revealed their plight. "We are 7 brothers cursed and trapped. Free us, and we'll shower you with wealth." Jola was skeptical, so the ghosts led him deep into the woods where a hidden treasure of gold lay beneath the earth. "Jola, how can I free you?" Third ghost. "Our souls are bound by a greedy landlord's dark magic within a hidden room. Destroying it will liberate us." In the dead of night, Jola sneaked into the landlord's estate, guarded by barking dogs and watchful guards. Inside the mansion, he found a peculiar room adorned with vulture skulls and a center altar with a black charm. Seizing the opportunity, Jola demolished the cursed room. Suddenly, the ground shook and the enraged landlord appeared. "The penalty for stealing my treasure is death." Trapped, Jola braced for the end. But in that moment, the 7 ghosts emerged. The kingdom was rich in wealth, but what captivated everyone's attention was its princess, Alokshi, with her long black hair flowing in the wind like the night that even outshines the darkness. However, hidden within her hair was an ancient secret. One day, an elderly maidservant at the royal palace warned Alokshi, "Princess, Never cut your hair, and never go near the iron door on the northern side of the palace. Alokshi's curiosity was piqued. What connection could there be between her hair and a door? That night, she dreamt, a dream where the ends of her hair were entwined with a massive golden lock in a dark forest, and beyond the lock, someone was calling, "Set me free, set me free." She awoke with a start, realizing there was some truth hidden in this dream. The following dawn, she secretly approached the iron door. As she pushed it open, a narrow staircase descended into darkness. As suspenseful music built, her footsteps echoed as she descended the stairs, revealing at the end a giant statue of black stone, adorned with a necklace of golden hair. As she neared, the statue's eyes flared open. The statue spoke, "I am the demon king of ancient times. Your ancestors imprison me. The magic in your hair binds me. If you cut or remove your hair, I will be freed and will destroy the kingdom." Alokshi realized that her beauty's true secret lay in her hair, which also served as a talisman protecting the kingdom. Some time later, a greedy king from a neighboring realm plotted to cut Alokshi's hair. One midnight, an assassin sneaked into the palace intending to cut her hair. But at that exact moment, a blue light emanated from her hair, tossing the assassin aside. Alokshi understood that her hair not only protected, but also had the power to fight back in times of danger. She declared to the king, "My hair is not just an ornament, but the very life of the kingdom. As long as I live, no one shall be able to harm this realm." Standing on the palace rooftop, with her hair blowing in the breeze and sunlight filtering through the clouds, the kingdom remained safe. Maya and her mother Sumi lived in a simple home in a small town. Their relationship was not just that of mother and daughter, they were each other's best friends. Every morning, as the sun rays streamed through the window onto Sumi's face, they would sip tea and chat about school, the market, and even their dreams. However, an unknown event was about to cast a shadow over their happy life. One day, when Maya returned from school, she noticed her mother holding an old letter. The letter read, "If you want to protect your daughter, come to the old pier in town at midnight tonight. Tell no one." Fear flickered in Maya's eyes, but Sumi smiled calmly. "Don't worry, I'm here." As the night deepened, Sumi quietly led Maya out. The moonlit water at the pier sparkled. Suddenly, from the shadows emerged an old woman, someone who seemed to have been lost many years ago. The old woman revealed that she was Sumi's childhood friend, who had disappeared in an accident many years back. Today, she had returned for just one reason, to give a precious gift on Maya's birthday. She handed over a golden locket, with a picture of Sumi from her childhood inside. As Maya opened the locket, an unusual light spread around them. Once the light faded, they saw there was a sentence engraved on the back of the locket: "Memories are the true treasure, which increases the more you share." Maya hugged her mother tightly and said, "Mom, you are not just my mother, you are my best friend forever." In the corner of the village, there was a small house belonging to Basanthi. Her garden, adorned with blossoming flowers, attracted everyone's attention. One morning, Basanthi and her daughter Leela discovered 3 peculiar rose plants abruptly grown in the center of the garden. One had black flowers, another red, and the third blue. Leela asked in astonishment, "Mom, these flowers weren't here before." Basanthi was equally amazed, for the plants had appeared overnight. A story spread. The black flower held a curse, the red flower possessed courage, and the blue flower brought fortune. No one dared go near them. However, Leela resolved to uncover the mystery. One night, under the moonlight, Leela quietly entered the garden. Suddenly, she heard the flowers conversing with each other. The black flower said, touch me, and you will lose all happiness." The red flower remarked, "Take me, and courage will bloom in your heart." The blue flower declared, "Possess me, and your luck will change." Though frightened, Leela, driven by curiosity, reached out her hand. Leela picked all three flowers together. The flowers combined into a golden light, and from that light emerged an old fairy. The fairy said, "Child, you have united three qualities: courage, fortune, and the strength to face a curse. These qualities together make life beautiful." Then, with her blessing, the fairy departed. From that day, no more mysterious flowers grew in Basanti's garden, but the lesson of the three flowers remained in Leela's heart: to overcome fear, be brave, and shape her own destiny. In the royal court of the Nawab, a debate erupted among the ministers one day over who was the wisest. Some claimed, "I have read the most books," while others boasted, "My reasoning is the sharpest." With a smile, the Nawab suggested, "Then there will be a test of wisdom tomorrow. Whoever wins will receive the title Rajgyani." Gopal Bar, the court jester, was quietly listening to everything. The next day, everyone gathered in the courtyard of the palace. The Nawab presented three peculiar questions. What is something that increases the more you share it? What is something that consumes everything but is never satisfied? What is something that cannot be seen but has the power to change everything? The ministers were baffled. Some guessed gold, others mentioned fire, but none of the answers pleased the Nawab. Gopal Bar stepped forward and answered, "Knowledge. The more you share it, the more it grows. Time. It devours everything, yet never stops or gets satisfied. Belief. It cannot be seen, but it can change both men and kingdoms." The Nawab applauded and exclaimed, "Well done, Gopal. This is the true mark of wisdom." Gopal, in his witty manner, added, "Your Majesty, I have earned the title, but as a reward, I would like responsibility for the kitchen for 1 week, but just for the sweets." Everyone burst into laughter, and the Nawab agreed. From that day on, everyone understood that wisdom is not just about memorizing facts, but about intelligence and saying the right thing at the right time. Once upon a time, at the edge of a lush green forest, lived a poor woodcutter boy named Amal. He lived in a tiny thatched house with his mother, and together they managed their household. Every morning, Amal went into the forest with his axe to cut wood. But in his eyes was always the dream that one day he would find something that would change his life forever. One afternoon, while cutting wood, Amal saw a golden deer trembling, hidden behind a bush. Sunlight sparkled off the deer's antlers, casting a colorful gleam. As he approached, he noticed a wound on its leg. Amal gently washed the wound with water from his flask. The deer, with gratitude-filled eyes, spoke to him, "It's been a long time since I saw such kindness in a human heart. In return, I will give you a magical gift." Suddenly, from the deer's antlers, a rainbow of light emerged, and before him appeared a pair of 7-colored shoes. The deer said, "These shoes will let you travel a mile with each step, and like the colors, they will grant you different powers. Red, infinite strength; blue, the ability to breathe underwater; green, the ability to communicate with plants and animals; yellow, the power of invisibility; orange, the ability to fly; purple, the ability to unlock any door; white, travel through time." Overjoyed, Amal put on the shoes, but he did not yet know that they would begin the greatest adventure of his life. The first time he took a step, Amal suddenly found himself a mile away, splashing into a village pond. The fish whispered in amazement, "Did this boy just fly in?" One day, using the yellow power by mistake, Amal turned invisible and sneaked into his mother's kitchen to eat hot pudding. His mother exclaimed in surprise, "Is a ghost eating the pudding?" Everything was fine until one day, the ancient bell in the village temple was stolen and shattered. Villagers speculated. It was the Dark Smoke King. He will ring the bell to make the entire village disappear in 7 days. Amal realized it was time for his magical shoes. Using the white light of the shoes, he traveled back to the moment before the bell was stolen. Confronting the Smoke King, Amal was shocked. It was an old sorcerer who once helped people, but having been deceived, had turned wicked. Using his green power, Amal learned from the temple's ancient tree that if the gem of trust was returned to the sorcerer, he would turn good again. Unlocking with purple power and searching the riverbed with his blue power, Amal found the hidden gem and placed it into the sorcerer's hands. Tears filled the sorcerer's eyes, and the smoke dissipated into the air. He returned the bell and apologized to the villagers. Once upon a time, in a kingdom adorned with lotus flowers, Princess Meglara was walking by the river when she witnessed an extraordinary sight. A white royal duck descended from the sky to stand before her. In its beak, it held 7 threads of different colors, glimmering in the sunlight like a rainbow. The duck spoke with the wisdom of humans, saying, "Princess, these threads can only be used by someone special. With them, you can mend any broken thing, be it cloth, heart, or fate. But be cautious. In the wrong hands, the threads will turn black, bestowing infinite power." Days later, strange events unfolded in the kingdom. The royal crown disappeared, the river dried up overnight, and even the flowers ceased to speak. Whispered rumors pointed to the dark magician Barnshwar, who was once a minister of the realm but had turned greedy and was exiled. One night, Princess Meglara met the duck by the river once more. In secrecy, the duck revealed, "I am not truly a duck. I am the prince of this kingdom, cursed by Barnshwar. My liberation lies in these 7 colored threads. If you sew the dark magician's shadow heart with them, the curse will break." Courageously, Meglara embarked on the quest. The red thread gave her immense bravery. The blue thread revealed an ancient treasure chest deep in the river. The green thread enabled her to speak with trees, learning secret paths. The yellow thread rendered her invisible, allowing entry to the dark magician's fortress. The orange thread carried her to the fortress roof. The purple thread unlocked the iron gates. And the white thread transported her to the past, where Barnshwar's heart was still intact. In the past, Meglara discovered that Barnshwar was once kind but suffered heartbreak due to betrayal by someone in the royal family. In that very moment, she sewed his heart with the 7 colored threads. In a distant kingdom, there was a princess named Aruna. Her long auburn hair shone like the sun, and she always carried a mysterious golden orb. Within that orb was said to be an ancient secret power that maintained peace and happiness in the kingdom. But one stormy night, like a sudden thunderclap, news spread. Princess Aruna was missing. Her room was left with a broken door, extinguished lamps, and half of the golden orb. Everyone in the kingdom assumed that the princess had been kidnapped by enemy soldiers. But an old maid of the palace whispered an eerie tale. Every full moon, a shadowy figure appears in the palace's mirror room. That shadow is said to hold the secret to Aruna's disappearance. The king immediately entered the mirror room, but all he saw was Aruna's reflection, reaching out for help from within the mirror. Prince Adifir, Aruna's brother, vowed to bring back the princess. From the wizards, he learned, "The princess is imprisoned by the queen of the mirror world. To free her, the second half of the golden orb must be found, hidden in the forest of shadows." Adifir set forth. Creatures of the shadow forest attempted to confuse him, yet he did not lose heart. A wicked witch tried to lure him off course with false promises, but Adifir used the silvery sword of truth, dispelling deception. At last, beneath a 7-colored fire flower, he found the other half of the orb. Upon returning to the mirror room, he saw that Aruna was not crying for freedom. Instead, she wore a mysterious smile. It turned out, Aruna was not the true princess at all. She was a magical illusion of the Mirror Queen. The real princess was trapped deep within the mirror's darkness. Maya, the illusion, said, "If you have courage, enter the mirror. But be warned, every fear and weakness will fight against you." Adifir leapt inside the mirror. First, he faced a terrifying version of himself, mocking, "You will never succeed." Then he witnessed Aruna's cries, threatening to weaken him. But he joined the two halves of the orb and declared, "Darkness cannot be defeated, only light needs to be ignited." In a distant land, Princess Alina lived, with eyes as bright as sapphire and a heart as pure as a child's. She had the unique ability to converse with animals, and her dearest friend was a mischievous little mouse named Tycho. One day, a terrifying storm erupted in the palace's mirror chamber. Out emerged two mysterious sorcerers from the mirrors, Kaldev and Mayra, the rulers of the mirror's magic. Kaldev thundered, "Princess, your beauty and pure heart can control the mirror's power. Hence, we need you as our prisoner." In an instant, Alina was pulled into the swirling vortex of mirrors into the mirror realm. When Alina opened her eyes, she found herself surrounded by nothing but bluish crystals and countless mirrors, each reflecting her in different forms. Somewhere she was angry, frightened, envious, and elsewhere she was joyful. Mayra whispered, "In this realm, there is no truth, only reflections. Until you find your true self, you cannot escape this maze of mirrors." The little mouse, Tycho, who had sneaked in with Alina, whispered, "Princess, one mirror will show the true path, but beware, the others are traps waiting to ensnare you." Alina courageously advanced. In the first mirror, she saw an indomitable queen, but her eyes were filled with arrogance. In the second, she was a sorrowful beggar, despised by all. In the third, she found her innocent laughter from childhood, that pure form. Alina realized true strength was not in power or wealth, but in simplicity and an honest heart. Suddenly, Kaldev roared, "No, you have found the truth, which means my magic weakens." He summoned a colossal black mirror that could swallow all light. But Mayra paused, silently staring at Alina. For Mayra was once a princess, now a fellow captive, turned accomplice to Kaldev. Mayra whispered, "Alina, if you take my hand, I will show you the way." Standing before a glowing pink crystal, Alina joined two fragments of a mirror. Light exploded in a dazzling array. Kaldev vanished with a scream. From the light emerged the real mirror, the mirror of truth. Anyone who looked into it saw their true self. In a distant magical kingdom, there lived Princess Arinya. From a young age, she was curious, always searching for the unusual. One day, in an old secret chamber of the palace, she discovered a mysterious hourglass with clock hand-shaped sands. As soon as she held it, a golden light spread out. Arinya heard a strange voice. "This hourglass is in your hands now, which means time is at your control. But beware, playing with time will come at a price." Initially, Arinya playfully flipped the hourglass. Instantly, everything in the palace stopped. Birds froze mid-flight, water from the fountains halted in midair, and the guards were suspended in their vigilant poses. She walked around laughing. "Oh, the world has stopped. I can do anything I want now." Upon flipping the hourglass again, everything returned to normal. One day, a ferocious sorcerer named Kronos attacked the kingdom. He had the power to see the future. No one in the kingdom could defeat him, as he always knew what was going to happen. Arinya thought, seeing the future is possible, but what if time stops? Then his power won't work. Bravely, she appeared on the battlefield with the hourglass in hand. Kronos roared, "You can't defeat me, princess. I know what you're going to do." But Arinya laughed and said, "Then watch." She flipped the hourglass. In an instant, time stood still. The sorcerer remained fixed, terror in his eyes frozen in the air. But astonishingly, the sands inside the hourglass began moving in the opposite direction. Arinya realized that each use took away some of her own life.